I love my tenants, but I never want to hear from them. I don't want them to know who I am. So, all right, guys. So we're going to talk about property management 101. Kind of like setting the systems up one time so that way they're duplicatable and you can use them to scale. This is one thing that I really screwed up on in the beginning because like I scaled so fast and I was still wholesaling. That took a bunch of my time. I didn't really know what I was doing. It was just a mess. I was like taking cash payments, not recording them, getting Venmo, doing this, having people mow the lawn and take money off their rent, not keeping track of it, like all kinds of stuff. Like sweep the common area, take 20 bucks off. The rent comes in $20 low. I forgot what I said. Like, you know, they want to plant a garden. They want to go do this. Like all of this stuff, like all that stuff wasn't scalable, right? And I learned it the hard way. And I want you guys to avoid that and show you how you can be lazy property managers as well and business owners. I really believe the system works. If you, from anywhere between 0 and 100 units, you can do this all yourself. And maybe even more than 100, it just depends. So one of the things is it matters because you don't want it to control your life. Like the last thing you want is your phone blowing off the hook for something, for anything. I love my tenants, but I never want to hear from them. I don't want them to know who I am. I want nothing to do with them. We're not friends, we're nothing. Like I'm not even the property owner, right? Like we'll get into that. Like I never owned the property. I used to think it was so cool when I owned real estate. And I'd be like, yeah, I own this. Come live here. And they're like, oh, you're so cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm the coolest person ever, duh. Like I own this house you're gonna live in. And then they just think we're friends and then it's like this. And I'm just like, yeah, blah, like, no, I show up there, I want to show up there covered in paint, like, yeah, the owner's an asshole. I'm just here, I just gotta show you. He just asked me to open the door, you know, I'm gonna go do this, like, whatever. Like, I don't want to be the guy. Like, this goes for, like, anything in your business. Like, you're never the person. You just aren't. Like, there's always somebody you gotta answer to. Well, you always have a partner. I don't have any partners, but everybody thinks I have partners. I gotta ask my guy, he does accounting. You know how they are, man, they're kind of assholes. Like, he's a real big stickler, like, I can't move on this, I can't do this, like, can I get paid? Well, I need to get a picture of this so I can send it to my money guy so I can actually get the money to do it. I don't have the extra cash. I've got 3 houses going, I don't have any extra money. Like, I've gotta do it this way. It's always something else. And when you tell them you can't pay them because it's not done, the work gets done somehow. That's why it's really important. Like Nate says in the academy, like we always say, like, don't pay a ton up front. Like, have clear payment schedules set up. Have that stuff set up so that way they have to come back to finish. The last thing you want is your contractors using you to fund their lifestyle and you're chasing them to get it done. They'll never get it done. It's just true. And then
by lifestyle, you mean drug addiction?
Yeah, anything, whatever it is. And I said this earlier, but it's really, really important. Systems equals scale. It starts at 1 unit, guys. It starts on your first door. It starts that way. Because it's like athletes and anybody in professional sports, like how you practice is gonna be how you play. You can't just like go through the motions. You can't like half do something. You gotta have the systems together to help you scale. It's so, so important. So, I want to set it up. I want to set mine up as a real property management company, right? We're talking about being vertically integrated, okay? So this is the management side. I got a whole other thing for the construction side we can do about starting from preservation the whole way up. But I want to set this up. How do I want to set it up? I want a Google Voice number. Google Voice number can be the same one as your vertically integrated property construction company. Not a big deal. It's not going to really matter. Website. I want to have my website. My holding company is JDS Holdings IX or JDS Holdings whatever. My rental company is Homes by Cityscape. So Homes by Cityscape is who the management company is, but they make the checks out to the owner, JDS Holdings, or whatever the LLC is. So Homes by Cityscape, like it's support at homesbycityscape.com or Jessica at homesbycityscape.com is the email. Google Voice number set up. Logo had it done on Fiverr. $20. It looks like a great logo. It doesn't matter, right? You just want it to be different, right? You want to show that you're like a management company. You want to show that you're something a little bit different. So, software. I love Buildium. I think Buildium is the best software out there. I used to collect online rents from Cozy. then have Propertyware, and then have to move the rentals, and I couldn't pull rent rolls, and I couldn't do this, and then I had something separate for property management, for maintenance. Like, Buildium does it all. Like, Buildium does everything. They can set up online payments. For me, the way I have it set up is whatever bank holds the mortgage to the property that collects the rent, that bank gets those deposits. And then on the 5th of every month, the bank pulls all the deposits and all my mortgages get paid. For me, when I set that up with my mortgages, I ask the bank, because I can be bad with money. Like, sometimes I'll have a lot of money, and then sometimes it's just gone because it's just going wherever, especially when you're growing and your money's kind of going everywhere. I ask the bank to escrow my taxes and my insurance. The first time I started doing houses, I didn't escrow my taxes, and I got hit with like an $18,000 bill in June. I almost shit my pants. I was like, I don't know, what am I gonna do? Like, this is not good. I'm gonna go bankrupt. I was like, I don't know why I did real estate. This was a mistake. This is terrible.
Does escrow just mean you can consolidate all the payments in one?
No, they add it to my monthly payments.
Right.
So say the taxes are $100 a month. Yeah, they'll just add that onto the mortgage payment and add my insurance.
100, insurance 100.
Yeah, and then that amount gets taken out. Then the bank holds it and the bank pays it out. And it's so much easier for me because, like I said, like when you're growing, you're always throwing money and stuff. You're always doing it, and like it's just easier with the bank just to handle it. Like one of my friends was like, "You're crazy. Do you know all the points that you're missing out on? You could get points because you can pay with a credit card, blah blah." And I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm not worried about the points. I'll make it up with something else. Like I'll pay full price for a ticket. Like I just want the peace of mind knowing that like my money is going there, it's sitting there, and it's gonna get paid. It's just how it is, especially when you're growing. Like now it'd probably be different. Like it wouldn't really matter too much. But at least when I was growing, that's how I liked it. And what's nice too is like sometimes there's a surplus, and especially when you do that first refi, and they're trying to get the numbers close, and they miss it, and then you overfund it by like $600, and now it's like, cool, I got $600. Like that's awesome. So that's that was the kind of thing for the deposits and everything. And I like Buildium just because it helps collect rent in one place. We can control where the deposits go. The maintenance system on it is amazing. And I'm going to show you how I use the maintenance system to make it easy. And I like tenant communications. You can communicate directly through them. So, whatever. I did this like 1 a.m.
I'm just giving you shit.
So tenant communications, and we'll add that in. We'll go through that. So let's talk about, yes.
That's a really good PowerPoint slide right there.
Can't wait to leave this city. All right. All right. So marketing. So now we're going to talk about like the management side of it, right? So high quality photos matter. That's how important photos are, guys. So we live in an age where everybody's going to see your properties online before they ever see it in person, right? So remember when I talked about going through all my rehabs and having like 5 or 6 sets of photos of the entire process done? Like I want the exact same thing. I want those final photos to be the ones that go on the marketing pieces.
Do you use the same photographer for both, or do you try and use a more high quality photographer?
So that's a good question. So the one that I use is a high quality photographer, but when it comes to taking photos, they spend a lot of time editing. Mm-hmm. So when I explain to them the other 4 or 5 that he takes, don't edit them. But on these ones, like let's make these ones nice. So it's a benefit because he can like rip through the houses. It's easy work. He takes the photos and leaves. He's there for 20 minutes, makes $40. So, and he gets all of those from me on multiple houses, which is nice. So like you guys should all find the same photographer that you can use for that thing. Like, man, that could be a full-time job for Team Michigan. Somebody that goes and just takes your photos of all your progress stuff. That's super cool. And they get to do what they love. Like, how amazing is that?
Do you store them on Buildium as well?
No, I keep them in the folder. Did you see my folder earlier I had on photos? I just keep them in my folder that goes with the properties, and like you date them as they come in. Like I'll do like before, and then whatever the dates are, and then have final photos. But I'll store them on there. So on Buildium, you can set it up where you can market your properties through Buildium, and then blast all the sites. I haven't done that. I'm just like old school. I still I'll put them on Zillow. Zillow puts them on Postlets and Hotpads, and then if I don't get it rented in like 10 or 14 days, then I'll throw it on Facebook. I just find that the quality of tenant is better through Zillow than Facebook for whatever reason, and I'll obviously share it on my social medias too, right? Put it on all my social media stuff, and we send a newsletter to our tenants saying, hey, we have these coming up. Do you have any friends that are looking to move? We pay $250 referral fee on anybody that you get to move in, paid after their first month. I need the deposit, and I need 1 month. Like, I need to make sure, before I pay it out. So that's there. One thing I am going to add to this that I'm looking into is I wanted to start doing video walkthroughs, and not necessarily Matterports, but like actual walkthroughs of the unit. I don't know. I just think it's going to add a nice little touch. People moving out of state or whatever.
What do you want to do?
Video walkthroughs. So, and what's nice is I paid for these final photos one time, and I have them forever. That's a big deal. Like, that's worth the expense. Like, you'll probably pay $120 to somebody to do the nice edited whatever ones. Then, as tenants are moving out now, like, I'll pay somebody to come in and do the videos. Here, $300, whatever, whatever. But that lives forever, right? That lives forever, and that's my marketing tool. So, marketing matters. Filling units. There. So, how I like to do it is whenever, there's two parts of this. This was me when I used to show it, and then now I have other people that show it for me. So I want to be completely hands off, right? So at first, when I would get the leads, when I get people that came in from like Zillow, Postlets, and wherever out, not Postlets, Zillow and Hotpads and all that stuff, I just get really excited, and I'm always like, oh my gosh, I can't wait, like this person actually wants to see it. I'm gonna go, and I'll set up a showing, and then they won't show up. So for me, what I wanna do is I wanna try to set up as many people at the exact same time for showings. Say, awesome, I can show it this Thursday at 5 p.m. or Saturday at 11. What works for you? I don't give them any other options. That's it. I just give them those. If it means enough, they'll come. That's it. Like, they'll send somebody, they'll do whatever. And then stack as many people as I can there. So it creates a couple things, right? Like, you know when you're gonna show it those 2 times. And they get way more motivated when other people are looking at it and like it. Like, that creates like a big incentive. So now I don't do this, but the people that do it are people that you guys can use, right? They're just other realtors. I pay the realtor 50% of 1 month's rent. So if the unit's $1,000, they get it rented, they get $500. And what's super cool too is I have a 3-month guarantee. So if for some reason they end up getting kicked out in 3 months, they have to fill it again. They have to fill it again because that's part of the fee. So, and you'll usually know after about 3 months, like usually when you evict a tenant, it's usually within 3 months or like 3 years, which is so weird. Like, I had one tenant that was with me for 3 years, and he just like disappeared. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, Taylor, say something. Like, I don't want to evict you. Like, just move out. And he was just gone. So we evicted him. So I'll leverage other realtors, newer realtors, any kind of realtor, because if you look at what they're doing, at least the units I finish and the units that you guys finish, the kind of people that we have in there, their next step is going to be buying a house. It should be buying a house. They should not be paying me $1,300 a month for a 2-bed forever. If they do, I mean, I'll take it. But I let the realtors know. I'm like, Alicia, Sierra, I'm like, guys, like, move them in. Get them on a drip campaign. Let them know that they need to move out. Like, and I don't care. Like, it's that scarcity mindset. Like, I don't care. Move them out. But it's so good for them too. Like, it helps them build their business, build a Rolodex, build whatever. So, and this is where it benefits a lot when you're working with like people that understand investors, like working with investor-friendly people, or even newer people that are just out of real estate school that aren't super busy or whatever. But that's what I like to have set up there. Filling the units. During COVID, I did it a little bit differently. I had the whole house set up with a Simply Safe. So I had it set up with Simply Safe, and I had a keypad on the front with an August lock. You guys ever heard of August? Yep, had it set up with an August lock. And the August lock, they had to have a smartphone. I could send them the key electronically. They hit it with their lock, and it only worked when I said it could work. And I would disarm the alarm, and they would go in. I would do self-showings that way. part of me doesn't hate that. I'm kind of I don't know. Like right now I got 4 empty units that we're turning that we got to get ready. So it's like, I don't know if I want to go buy 4 more of those and buy more of them. They end up getting destroyed. Part of it's my fault. I can be kind of careless with it. And like we take them off, then I don't even know where it ends up. But I mean, that's a great do self-showing that way. Get them to come in. You have them on the camera like, hey, cool, but hey, in order to do this, I do need to have an application on file just to see if they can play ball, right? Like, I don't want them to go through like, oh my God, I love it so much. It's amazing. Credits 510. You're like, ooh, got a cosigner? Like, no, I just got out of jail. I don't know how my feeling is. Like, oh, crap. Like, this is not the ideal tenant. Like, you don't want to let them go through it. So I'd let them go through as long as they had an application. Leases, question mark. I don't know why that's here. All right, so, well, let's actually talk about the leases for a second. So the leases, and I want to put a photo of the leases that I use on here. So my lease is all in the academy, it's everywhere. And then there's a lease and there's an addendum. An addendum is basically like, addendum is, how do you define addendum? Just like an extension of a contract. In addition to, yeah. So my leases are really simple. You just kind of like, my leases are like really heavily weighed out to me, which they should be, right? And then they sign them and they're fine with it, and we'll share that stuff. But you just want to like lay down like the law in the beginning. So like for me, I always had washer and dryers in my units. They beat the crap out of them. They just break. They overload them and they break. They don't clean the lint. They do this stuff. So now in my lease, it just says like, hey, we're going to provide a washer and dryers. But if anything happens, that's on you. Like, we're not fixing them. Tico rents his stuff out. You guys know Tico? He's in the academy. Tico rents his stuff out and doesn't even put any appliances in the house. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, how do you rent it with no appliances in the house? But he does it, right? So it's not to say one way is right or wrong. I want to set the standard that like, if you get locked out of the house, contact Allied Locksmith or another locksmith. Do not call us 67 times to get a key. We're not moving. We're not doing anything. We want nothing to do with you. Call a locksmith, right? Like, if there's an emergency, if you have a dispute, call the police or whatever that looks like. Again, another part of our lease that's really important is that we, in all of our multifamilies, all of our leases, it says all occupants of the building, as long lines like all occupants of the building are entitled and should have a safe place to reside, a safe home, something along those lines, like a safe place. So like, if we ever find out like there's like violence going on or something's happening or whatever, like, hey, you're violating this clause in your lease. Like, you need to correct this now. You send them a cure to cause. We had to go replace a faucet at one of our townhouses.
If a person, if you have a backup in the basement and it's due to the tenant, do you add that to your lease? Yeah.
I've never collected on it though. It's we end up snaking it out, and then we tell them like, if this ever happens again, like, you're responsible for it. So it'll happen. Like it's happened. Yeah. It's happened, and then the worst is like when it's happened to a 2-family, and they're like, it's the upstairs neighbor, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, my plumber was just in here, and you have a box of wipes above your toilet. So like but it says flushable. It's not flushable. Like, it's not flushable. Yeah, the first one I almost eat, but collecting money from tenants is impossible for like damages and stuff. Like and I have a collection attorney that I use in Cincinnati, and you guys can all find one here. Just Google them, find out their rates. Make sure it's somebody that you don't pay unless they collect. So like, I'm starting to go after people. Like, the guy that just moved out, we evicted. I lost like $8,000. Like, I'm gonna go after him for like 10 grand. And if I collect some, the lawyer will get some, I'll get some. But right now, it's nothing to me, right? So like, I want them to garnish wages. Like, it's frustrating. Like, you're so good with so many people, and after 3 years, they just like disappear, and not even just disappear, like destroy everything. And you're like, dude, that sucks.
So you have a guy that I'd be able to sell my judgment to if I already have judgment against.
Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. For what, like 50 cents on the dollar or 20 cents or?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's awesome. Yeah. So that's huge. And then in my lease too, so like when we go in to do plumbing, like maintenance requests, sometimes we'll come in and whenever, like, say it was a faucet, it was a kitchen faucet we had to fix at a townhouse. So we fixed this kitchen faucet. This was like a year ago. They took a picture of the faucet, and underneath underneath the sink was like dirt from their plants that had fallen over. Dirt was everywhere. And it was just gross. And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, it wasn't that bad. We're like, oh, whatever. Then their fridge broke. So we sent our appliance repair company out there. And they're like, hey guys, this unit is disgusting. And they took pictures. It was so bad. And we sent that tenant a letter. We're like, we're not replacing any of your appliances. We're not doing anything because on this clause in your lease, it says you're supposed to have a clean and safe home, and you're violating that, and you need to move out immediately. And we're not replacing anything. I was like, you have 30 days to do it. They called us back like 3 days later, and they're like, can we walk through? And we had somebody go walk through, and it was spick and span brand new. And now, which leads me to what I was telling Danny, like, something you guys all need to do, and I need to do a better job of, is every like 60 days, every 30 days, physically inside the property, looking at the furnace heat, looking at this, looking at that. And there's no reason why all of you here, Team Michigan, us, we, can pay somebody $10 a door. If it's a 2-family, $20. And all of you together, like, hey guys, Alex sends out a message to Team Michigan. Hey guys, it's September, quarterly check-ins. Who's ready to throw down? How many units you got? Boom, you guys all go. You have 200 units. That's a good week for somebody. You go through, check the filter furnace, take photos, check it all out. It's easy to forget that because it's like boring. It's like, yeah, it's like, oh, it's all done. Like, it's fine. But it's only fine until it's not. I want to know if the smokes work. I want to check the fire extinguisher, make sure that's still good. Like, it's a safety thing. And it's also your building. Like, you guys own it. Nobody cares about it but you. So you want to know. And can't tell you how many times, oh my gosh, I walk into a unit where somebody lived in, they moved out. I walk in and the ceiling is gone from like rain or water running in. And I'm just like, look, I'll ask Jess, I'm like, did we ever get a maintenance request for like a leak in the ceiling at 17 grand or whatever? And she's like, no, we haven't got anything. I'm like, weird, because they don't have a ceiling and the floor is soaking wet. How do they not tell me that? But then I got the tenant next door who wants me to kill a spider. Like, how do you not tell me? You've lived here for 2 years and this is destroyed. Like, if I would have known, we could have fixed that. That's flashing. Guys, that's a couple $100. Now I gotta fix this floor. Now I gotta go up here and do this. Like, that's frustrating, right? So like going through these units and inspecting them is so important. So, and all that's in the lease, right? You say all that in the lease and you do it and you execute it. So I'm gonna finish this really fast. Then, so maintenance requests. We make it very, very clear for maintenance requests. They have to get submitted through Buildium. Buildium has an amazing portal for maintenance requests. They can take it, you can send pictures of it, send a picture of it, send your request, comes through on your phone, comes through on your email. Really, really clean system. What's really cool about that is whenever I get requests that come through to me, come through the email or come through whatever, what I'll do, if I'm just sitting around, I got it, is I'll take a screenshot of it and then go to my vendor list. Dang it, it's not on here. Remember the vendor list I talked about setting up before? Do you guys remember that vendor list? I'll go to my vendor list and see who on this vendor list can fix this issue. Is a roof leak? Is it pest? Is it mice? Is it a chimney cap? Is it whatever? And then just send that screenshot to my plumber. And then they go fix it. Right? And you can even take it a step further and create work orders in Buildium and then send it to them that way. My guys are kind of like old school. They don't really know how that stuff works, right? So I just kind of send them screenshots and then they fix it. And then when they're done, they send me a picture and then we close it out. We're done. Like the stuff when Jess will send stuff to Danny, like normally she does it different a little different, but like I would just screenshot, send it off. And then when it's done, you go boom, boom, boom. And then you close out the tickets. So
even though it's terrible at sending pictures back, but
yeah. So this is where we can get like creative with our outsourcing. The messages, the maintenance requests, the systems you create that you do, you don't need to do them. Because this is a VA can manage all of this for us. I'm very close to bringing on a VA, my current VA, to come and take over this system. The only reason I haven't is because my fiance likes doing it, and then she's like, what am I gonna do all day? And I wanna be like, nothing, I don't know, what do you do all day anyway, right? This is only like a couple hours worth a week. Like, I love you so much if you're watching. This is all VA, like VAs can do this, right? What's really cool is, and you tell them, you give them the spreadsheet. Hey, if this is going on, there's plumbing, click under plumber. And maybe they have a question once they get going and need to understand, but they can send screenshots and they can call your people, and then they can connect that way. And then also they can see your rent rolls. You can give them just read-only access to Buildium. Hey, anybody who's not, anybody who doesn't have rent collected in Buildium by the 6th, I need you to call them, and then we need to get them a 3-day notice immediately sent out.
Wow.
So, and that's VAs, that's $6 an hour, guys. And you can be completely out of this. And that, I mean, I'm like, when I say I lost my login, like, I'm glad. I don't want to know my login. Like, I know it's getting done. Like, you know, we got one maintenance issue right now we got to finish out. Well, 2, but they're not even really that big of a deal. But that's creating the systems. Like, you can outsource that and have the VA set that stuff up for you. Outsourcing, I talked about that. All right, that's pretty much it. That is it, I guess. But that's how we manage our properties, to like, so that they just don't like consume our lives, and it's just not like so tedious. Like, and like in the beginning, I just thought that like I was being busy and I'm so involved and I'm this and I'm that. But like, we need to be focusing on finding bigger deals. We need to be focusing on finding better deals. Another thing too in the beginning too, setting up your system, is setting my stuff up on a master key was one of the best things that I've ever done in my life. I have one key that will get me into every single unit I have. And then my locksmith has the key codes to everything. So Danny knows. So like, I'll go and buy the 2 packs of exterior locks, the deadbolt and the handle lock, right? And I'll have 5 of them, for example. And I'll write on a separate piece of paper, 2712 price, units 1, like whatever I need them coded to, and the locksmith will take them and make a key for the tenant, but then also code them on a key that my master will open no matter what. So I have one key that'll get us into every single unit. And then if the tenant does get locked out, it says in their lease, they can go to Allied if they're open and get a new key cut. But then they just have to, Allied will call us to confirm that that's the case, or what, you know, whatever. But it makes it so much easier. And then when a tenant moves out, hey, bring them a new lock. Hey, this is for 2714 price. Unit 1, tenant moved out, key just cut something new. Oh yeah, no problem, boom. We went the route of power bolts for a little bit. Power bolts suck. They're just a pain in the butt. For me, I mean, like, I just like the key. The keys are just, a key to entry is easier. Power bolt's fine. I honestly just don't feel like any of our tenants deserve it, and they're all good tenants, but like, they'll just like press the button and then like do this, and they get jammed super easily. Like, just, deadbolt's fine. Like, they'll be fine with a deadbolt.
What's a power bolt?
It's a quick set power bolt. It's one of those keypads.
It's like an automatic lock,
Yeah.
like an electronic lock.
You don't like them?
No.
Why do they get stuck? I mean,
Because
I don't think it's something that really deal breaker.
it's not, and because with the power bolt, think about the liability, right? Like, you give a contractor your code for your power bolt, and I'm giving out mine, a ton, and it's like that power bolt code unlocks all of them. That's like my master code key. What if they just went and did it? Whereas my master key, only trusted people could ever get one. Like my electrician, my plumber, my HVAC people, like and like, Danny or whatever else has a master key. That's it. Like, they don't float in the atmosphere.
Oh my God.
Jamie, does that key unlock your
I should have jumped off that balcony.
I know.
first floor?
I know. That's pretty much it for the for just managing that kind of stuff. But was that helpful? Can you guys see? I mean, it's just the systems, guys, the habits. What you create now translates from 2 units to 200.
Presentation was super helpful. The PowerPoint made it just like really tied it all together.
I especially like this last slide.
Thank you.